Hello, and welcome to Complete with DLC, the only show that's 4 times more powerful. I'm one of your hosts, Griffin, and sitting across from me is the Scorpio himself, Brad Knight. Brad, how you doing?
I am slowly dying of heat stroke.
Yeah, I know, it's like freaking 80 degrees out right now.
Yeah, I closed my window and shut off my fan for the purposes of this recording, so I am going to die.
I moved to my downstairs area because it's much cooler than upstairs.
Well, heat does rise, so...
Yeah, and I woke up this morning in a sweat. It was not fun.
Yeah, it's pretty warm, but, you know, we don't get warm weather here very often, so...
Well, I mean, now we're getting into the season of it, though. That's why. Probably.
Tomorrow is supposed to be even worse. Friday, oh.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really, really warm.
Well, let's get into what we're playing, then. So, Brad, you've been staying away from the warm air. You've probably been playing a lot of video games. What have you been playing?
I have been playing a lot of video games. Have you noticed our intros get shorter as we go?
Well, I only shortened it up because you told me you had to be somewhere. So
I do. All right. So I have been playing still more Overwatch. I actually think I have a problem. This game is consuming my life.
It's too addicting.
It is really, really fun, and I just wish that the competitive mode will come back sooner rather than later, because I can see a point where I would stop playing unless I had a reason to go back. Like I don't care for quick play in anything that I play.
Right.
In terms of multiplayer, I always go for the ranked mode just because that's how I do things. And right now I'm still having fun with it because it's still new and I'm still screwing around with all the characters, and but there's going to be a time when that wears off, so I hope the competitive mode shows up before that happens. And I don't care much for the weekly brawls, really, so sometimes they're fun, sometimes they're not. The one that's going on right now is just really annoying.
What is it?
It's you have 200% health, your ultimate charges faster, what else is it? It's ridiculous. Like, everything is like amped up to 11, so everything's super high paced. Everybody's playing D.Va and just throwing their mechs all over the place and blowing up constantly.
That sounds like it would be incredibly annoying.
Yeah, so I just played Hanzo and stayed up in the air and shot dragons every 30 seconds. Which I found out, Genji, his brother, if he has the reflect ability on his E, if you reflect Hanzo's dragon arrow as soon as he shoots it, it'll flip the dragons around and shoot them the other way.
Huh.
And they'll become the enemy's dragons. They'll turn red.
That's cool.
Yeah, but it's really, really hard to do. I don't think there's actually a projectile in the game that Genji can't reflect if you time it properly. But he is one of the highest skill cap characters, so...
Yeah.
But other than that, I've been playing more Doom.
How's that been going?
Lots of more Doom. The hard difficulty is getting harder. I didn't think I'd say that, but it's actually getting harder. And I found out on every single level there's a classic Doom level hidden as a secret.
Yeah.
And I just found that out because on every level there's one secret that I have never been able to find. I always leave the level with one secret missing, and that's what it is the Doom level. Because up to this point, I've only found 3 of them, I think.
Now I have a question. Can you play through the Doom level after you collect it?
Yeah, it's one of the menus where, as you're going into the game, you can click like continue, mission select, rune trial select, or classic maps. And you go into classic maps, you see all the ones you've unlocked.
So now my question is, have you played any of them?
No, I've not played any of them yet.
Okay, because I was gonna ask you if it's just like how the Wolfenstein did it, where if you find the old levels of Wolfenstein where he still has like the modern guns.
Oh yeah,
but
it is.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, because to unlock the one I unlocked, I pulled a switch and walked in there, and it was all it opened up a door, and behind it was all the old Doom graphics. And it was just me in the current model holding a modern super shotgun, and it looked really weird, and it really strained my eyes. Like that, like it was like on the TVs where you get like that snow effect. It was like,
yeah,
it looks like that all over the walls, and it was killing me.
Yeah, I noticed that when I played Wolfenstein: The New Order, when they had like the nightmare levels that were just levels from Wolfenstein 3D.
Yeah,
I was like, this looks so weird right now. And actually, I thought like the game, like I thought Wolfenstein looked really good, like graphically, but it being in there and just seeing the modern guns kind of made it look bad in a weird way.
Yeah, it's a very iconic look, but I mean, I don't fool myself into thinking it looks better than the things that do now. There are people who do that, like, oh no, the originals always look the best, and like, no, they don't.
No, it's not even like that. Like, it's just like the guns in that environment looked bad to me for some reason, but like when they were in the normal environment, they looked really good.
They looked fine. Yeah, it's that weird contrast. It's the new versus the old.
I think that might have been what it was, but that weirded me out then.
I still haven't touched the multiplayer in Doom yet, though. I'm having way too much fun with the single player, and I haven't gotten through it yet. It's taken me a lot longer than expected just because I was an idiot and picked hard, and I'm paying for it.
Just don't touch the multiplayer. You don't need to.
I mean, I will. It's, from what I'm hearing, it's not as bad as people were thinking, so, I mean, I play Call of Duty every year. It can't be any worse than that.
I guarantee you it could be worse than that, but...
I mean, I played Ghosts.
You'll play 2 matches of it, and you'll be like, not for me. I guarantee that.
I mean, I liked it in the beta, so...
I thought the beta was alright, but, like... It definitely is not the Doom that I want. Like, the Doom I want is what we have with the single player.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the reason I played the multiplayer as much as I did was because I think the second match I played, I unlocked this bright pink fuchsia armor. I'm like, well, now I have to use this, so I equipped it and played like 3 or 4 more matches.
Yeah, mine was like neon blue.
Yeah.
Like cyan. It was great. But is that all you've been playing, though? Is just those 2?
Well, yep, those 2.
I played 2 games this week. I went back and played Grand Theft Auto last night, randomly. Just out of nowhere.
5, I assume?
No, I went back and played GTA 1. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I went back and played 5, and it's still fun. I've realized now that game really has nothing to hold you on once you do everything that you usually do in that game. Because what we did is I played with my friend Austin. We cause he said something yesterday about how he wanted to go to the beach. I was like, I'll go to the beach with you in GTA, and then we went and played GTA as a joke. And we went to the beach for a little bit. Then we went on my yacht. Then we went on a murderous rampage. And after that, we were like, no, we've pretty much done everything that you could do in this game.
Yeah, it's pretty much how the progression goes. And what doesn't make sense to me is that one of the most popular parts of GTA 5 was the single player. All they need to do is release a single player DLC, and they'll make, like, billions of dollars again.
Yeah, it's taken forever. Which I'm surprised they haven't yet, because they were so successful with that in 4 with The Lost and the Damned and the Ballad of Gay Tony. And so I just assumed that this was definitely coming, and then there was all these leaked like files where apparently it was going to be in Liberty City and stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised if they announced it at E3.
It could be, but and that could be even to that rumor that we heard last week where Rockstar's next thing is going to be announced soon. It could be DLC, which I would be a little disappointed if it was just DLC was their next thing.
Yeah, I can't imagine they would take up an entire E3 spot just to announce DLC.
I mean, it's Rockstar. They could do whatever they want, though, really.
Yeah, it's true. Rockstar's become sort of the Marvel of the video game industry, where they can do no wrong, and anything they do, people will like, so... They could just go, yeah, here's DLC for GTA 5, and it's story mode DLC, and everybody will lose their minds, and they'll be happy, and nobody will care that's the only thing they announce.
I feel like they get spikes, though, when they release this, like, online content, because it's, like, the only DLC we've really had has been the free updates for online, and so I could see, like, probably people go in there, they play all the new stuff, and then they're like, well, I'm done for a little bit, then, like, the new guns get added or whatever, they add, like, new cars, they're like, I'll check these out, alright.
That's how they're gonna do it at E3, right? They're gonna start off the announcement like, all right, we got some new multiplayer content here. You know, usual deal. It's free. You guys go on, play it, whatever. And everybody's kind of like, you know, whatever. And then they end the announcement with the DLC update, and then everybody loses their minds.
They could do that. They could pull a 3 on us. They could be like, not like a GTA 3, but like they could pull like a 3-peat on us, where it's just like, here's the new multiplayer content. Here's our single-player DLC, and here's Red Dead Redemption 2, or Bully 2, or whatever. Wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be really cool, but I think we're putting too much hope in Rockstar.
Honestly, though, like, if Rockstar... Because Rockstar never goes to E3. So if Rockstar was going to go to E3, I feel like they'd have something big to show. And while single-player DLC would be big, it's not E3 big, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I heard, what's their names are going to E3? I just heard this the other day. Koei Tecmo.
Really? What do they make?
Dynasty Warriors.
Oh.
People are suspecting it might be another Dynasty Warriors. I'm gonna sneeze, damn it. Hold on.
What if they make another Hyrule Warriors for NX?
Oh, God. I mean, they could make one of the 1,700 Dynasty Warriors clones that exist, and I would be fine with that. I think the most recent one is the One Piece one, if I'm not mistaken. I think that one came out in 2014.
No, because didn't Hyrule Warriors come out after that?
I don't know. Nope, 2015. March 26, 2015, and Hyrule Warriors was 2014. So no, the One Piece one is the most recent most recent Dynasty Warriors clones.
Well, they made that one for 3DS, so I didn't know if that one was after. But the other game I played was a game called Trackmania Turbo.
Oh, I just saw that got deleted off my PS4. I didn't know what it was, so I didn't miss it.
This game is actually, it's kind of cool. It's like a racing game where all the... honestly, the best way to kind of describe it is... It's not like... Remember how I described, what the hell was that game? Tabletop racing is like, it's like a Hot Wheels game because like you're on like a table and stuff. Like this one is like a Hot Wheels game, but not in the size factor. It's in the fact that all the tracks are insane, like a Hot Wheels toy set usually is. And like there's like loops and stuff. And like your car can drive up to like 400 miles per hour. Like it's kind of crazy and it's kind of fun. And I just wanted to try it out to see what it was like. And they have these, it's apparently like a huge thing actually. Like when I looked it up, like Trackmania is like huge on PC and stuff. And it's been for a while. And it's really big because they have a track editor, so the community is like huge into it and making like new stuff for it all the time.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the driving actually controls pretty well. Like you'd think like going that fast, the driving wouldn't be that good. It's actually like very good, and they're kind of like Baja style cars. Like if you know like those kind of all like those off-roading track sort of race cars.
Yeah.
And they just kind of control nice. The drifting's pretty good in it, which I usually judge a video game based on its drifting, at least if it's a racing game. And it's the drifting's good in it, so that gets kind of a thumbs up from me on that. But I think everyone should try it out. It's a different kind of racing game, and I really enjoyed my time with it.
That's pretty cool. We'll have to get you playing some new stuff for next week. That way you have you can have a game that you can talk about more passionately than Hot Wheels cars, because I think 2 weeks of Hot Wheels cars is more than any man can handle.
Honestly, like I keep going back and forth between Hot Wheels cars. I can't wait till Hot Wheels makes an actual game.
Yeah, then you can play the real deal.
Exactly, and I could just be like, beat that, because that was their saying. But you want to move on into the news?
Sure, why not?
So we got some pretty decently big news this week, and let's start off with something big, which are the sales of the PlayStation 4.
Yes.
Sony is banking on a big year for the PlayStation 4. The company is anticipating that the PS4 will sell 20 million units worldwide in its current fiscal year, according to the corporate forecast that Sony released. Sony's 2016 fiscal year runs until April 1st, 2016. From April 1st, 2016 through March 31st, 2017. The company said today that it sold 17.7 million units in the 2015 fiscal year. So the forecast represents a 13% year-over-year increase. Last year's figure came in 19.6% above the 14.8 million PS4s that Sony sold during the 2014 fiscal year. The first full year of the console's life cycle, because it came out, I want to say, like November 2013.
Yep, close to around where the Xbox One came out. We've had these systems for a very long time.
Yes. Earlier this year, Sony announced that the global PS4 sales had reached 35.9 million, which just came out, I want to say today or yesterday, that they've actually reached 40 million now.
Yep.
So this system's selling like astronomically well.
Yeah, it is. It's becoming very quickly one of the best-selling consoles. I don't know if it's going to upset some of the current reigning champions, but it's doing pretty well.
It's getting close to PS2 numbers.
Is it? I think it is, actually.
Yeah, or at least it's getting. I think it's getting close to definitely PS3 numbers, because PS3, I think, when all was said and done, it hit like 80 million. I'm not sure. PS2. Once again, astronomically sold well.
Oh, it's not even close to PS2 numbers.
Oh, no.
155 million.
Then I read it wrong. It might have been PS3. Because PS3, I think, when all said and done, ended at like 80 mil.
It just passed up the Nintendo 64. at 32.9 million. The next one it has to upseat is the Super Nintendo Entertainment System at almost 50 million.
List of best-selling game consoles. Here we go. Wikipedia is going to help us out here.
That's what I'm looking at right now.
Oh yeah, the highest is PS4 with 155 million. So,
yeah. Or PS2, not PS4.
PS2, that's what I meant. Yeah. So PS4 is way down there, but
yeah, it's nowhere near any of the big.
I suggest by next year it could maybe reach up to PS3 360 levels. Of 80 mil. If the things are to be believed, and it's selling better year over year.
Yeah, possibly, it is possible. I don't know. I don't expect it to get too high up there.
But what do you think about this? Are you happy that it's selling so well?
I am happy that it's selling so well, but it's not as impressive as it sounds, because remember that we have that unconfirmed system, the Neo, that is more or less, confirmed at this point. We'll hear about it at E3, but selling 20 million more units when you have a new version of your system coming out is not that impressive. A lot of people will buy it just because it's a new thing. So yes, it is impressive you're selling 20 million units, but remember that you have that sort of artificial inflation of it's a new thing, so people are going to buy it. So
the thing I would be curious about with that is if they count the Neo as its own thing or as a PS4. Because if they count it as a PS4, then yeah, it's not as impressive. But if it's counted as its own thing, like say they have sales numbers for the PS4 and for the Neo.
Well, they'll have sales numbers for it, but it's whether or not they're going to classify it as something different. Because remember, they're calling
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
If they classify it as something different, then yes, these numbers are impressive. But if it's just classified as adding on to the PS4's sales numbers, then no, that's not impressive at all. Because obviously, the new one's going to sell, decently well from people who are, say, double dipping, or even from people who are just buying a PS4 for the first time.
Yeah, so sales figures are never as predictable as they seem to be. So they're just projecting that it's good. If they keep on the way they're going, they're going to hit 60 million by April 2017. It doesn't mean it's going to stay consistent. So they could go above 60. They could go well below 60. It's really just, it's in the air right now. But I'm happy to see that the PS4 is doing well.
Brad, what did you think of Titanfall? Did you like it?
I thought, I jumped on the Titanfall train very late when everything was free, including all the DLC.
Yeah, and nobody was playing it anymore. Or if people were playing it, it was like, a couple.
Yeah, they were the dedicated fans.
Yeah.
So I jumped in really late. I got everything free, and honestly, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I got it when it first came out, and while I thought it was a lot of fun and stuff, it didn't have anything to kind of keep you there.
Yeah, it was very shallow.
Yeah, and I went back and played it once they released everything for free, like the season pass and everything. And I thought that was really fun to play all the new modes and the new maps and stuff, but like still there wasn't anything keeping me around there because nobody was playing it. But there's a Titanfall 2 coming.
Yes.
And there's been a lot of stuff leaked onto Reddit for it.
Yes, because this is where everything goes is Reddit.
Exactly. Titanfall 2 will give players a new way to traverse the game's environments and engage others in combat, thanks to the addition of a grappling hook, according to a post on the Titanfall subreddit. A user claiming to have knowledge of Respawn Entertainment's next game posted that gameplay detail alongside a piece of legitimate-looking artwork to back up their claim. That grappling hook, the Reddit user said, is used for getting into your Titan, aiding free running, or tactical plays such as pulling enemies while they are midair. Titanfall 2 will also apparently feature larger multiplayer maps. The piece of artwork posted by the user I Love Google Glass, geez, this guy likes to jump on sinking ships, doesn't appear to feature a grappling hook, nor the sword teased in Titanfall 2's first trailer, though it does match a teaser image posted to the game's official website. What it does feature are some familiar elements: Titans, pilots, infantry doing battle in a futuristic sci-fi setting. The poster on Reddit also claims that the Titanfall 2 will be out this October. Publisher Electronic Arts already has a shooter booked for that month, though, being Battlefield 1. Both Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2 will be during EA's fiscal third quarter, which runs October 1st, 2016 to December 31st. Another apparent leak for Titanfall 2 says that Respawn's sequel will also be the featured game in this year's Mountain Dew Game Fuel line. A Facebook fan page for Game Fuel indicates that Titanfall 2's promotional soda will come in two flavors, Mango Heat and Cherry Citrus. While Mountain Dew's line of game-associated beverages typically launch annually in October, the games they're promoting sometimes release the following month.
Never have I wanted a rumor to be false more than I have right now.
Why do you want Call of Duty to be the game-fueled?
Just stick it on Call of Duty. You've already ruined their reputation. Let's not spread the disease.
I mean, honestly, like, it's bad in a way because it's a dumb thing that the industry does with the Mountain Dew and Doritos, but, like, I get why a company would jump at it because, like, it's a big soda brand.
It's free money.
Exactly. So what do you think about all this leak stuff?
So, I don't know. This rumor about the grappling hook is confusing to me because, I mean, like it said, just because he has a realistic-looking image that sort of matches the official game's website doesn't mean he would have any knowledge of a grappling hook. So I'm curious to see where he got this information from and why.
Well, I don't think the image was just to be like, hey, look, I know about a grappling hook because of this image.
It's to sort of prove his worth. Like, hey, look, I have this, which is pretty similar to the stuff they have on the website, so you know I'm legit.
Yeah.
But to me, that's not enough. But I wouldn't see it as an unrealistic thing to add. I mean, grappling hooks seem... I mean, if they're going to add swords, grappling hooks to me is a much less weird thing to add to the game. If this leak would have been about, they're going to be swords in Titanfall 2, I would have told you you're an idiot. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but now that we had seen it in that trailer, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so, I don't know. What I am curious about, though, is the two games coming out in the same same month, in the same fiscal quarter, Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2. I don't think they'd stack them that close.
No, definitely not. I think, if anything, Titanfall would come out in November, but see, then if it came out in November, it'd probably get killed by Call of Duty, so it's kind of like a...
if I had to guess, it would probably early December. That way they still get the Christmas jump.
If you launch a game in December, that's almost kind of like a terrible thing for it. Like, it's very few games come out in December, like, even if it's very early December, and do well. Like, I think the only one that I've ever heard of that came out in December and did decently well was Far Cry 3. So, I mean...
I don't know, because they want to get...
They definitely want to get that Christmas money.
Yeah, so that's kind of the only window they can do it. I don't think they would stack... I don't know, stacking two things against each other of the same company is not a good idea, because a lot of people aren't going to go out and buy both, right?
Yeah.
And at the bottom line, people are going to pick Battlefield 1 over Titanfall 2, simply because Battlefield 1 is capitalizing on the monstrosity of Call of Duty's marketing right now. So
the thing is, too, is that Battlefield has a better cachet with people than Titanfall does, right?
Yeah.
Because while Battlefield Hardline wasn't that great of a game, it Battlefield still has a name with people where people like 4 and they like 3 and they like the old ones too.
Yeah.
With Titanfall 1, everyone's like, it was a fun game, but like it was a real nothing thing. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's sort of like Battlefield's a tried and true franchise, and people are going to be coming back to buy it. Where Titanfall, we're sort of waiting around to see if the second one is going to pull the weight that they think it's going to. And when it comes down to it, people are not going to want to take the risk, and they're just going to go with the safe option of picking Battlefield 1. So I don't think EA, if EA knows how to do anything, it's how to make money, and I don't think they're going to stack two of their own games against each other, because that's just how you lose money.
Here's the thing, right? Even I think if they put it out in November, it could do decently well if you do it towards the back half of November. Like, get it kind of out of the way of Call of Duty, because, like, I think while everyone hates Call of Duty, right?
It's going to sell well. It always does.
It's going to sell well because, number one, it has the name Call of Duty on it, and number two, it's being packed in with pretty much everyone's favorite Call of Duty.
Yeah, which is another reason why it's going to sell very well.
Exactly. So, like, I think the odds are just kind of stacked against Titanfall. Honestly, they'd probably be smarter just to put it to the beginning of next year, because, like, Titanfall 1 sold pretty well, and it came out in, like, March.
Yeah, well, it was a very early title for the Xbox One.
Yeah, that's another reason why it sold well, too. But, like, I think if you just kind of put it in a place where it has, like, no real competition, it'll be pretty good. Like, if you're going to put this in the back half of the year, it honestly could go out to die.
I think they could get away with an early December release. It's historically not a great thing, but I think that's their best option, because they can capitalize on the Christmas money, and they're not competing directly with Call of Duty, because, I mean, I don't, like, it'll still sell, but it's not going to do as well as between selling against Call of Duty and selling in December. I think selling in December would get them the better numbers, personally. But I don't know. I'm not a marketing major. I'm not, I'm not an accountant. What do I know? So, somebody who's smarter than me can tell me what their best option would be.
You may not be a marketing major, but you do know a lot about Pokemon, right, Brad?
Yes.
And are you excited for this Pokemon Go?
Yeah, I think it'll be a fun little thing to screw around with.
Well, the Pokemon Company dropped further details about Pokemon Go, the upcoming iOS and Android game that takes trainers into the real world to collect them all. Get it? That's what they're saying.
Yes.
Among the new info is an explanation of gyms, evolution, battling, and more. Similar to Pokemon X and Y, players can dress up their characters with different clothes and accessories. They'll get to see their customized trainers on the in-game map, and opponents will see the characters during gym battles. Claiming a gym and successfully defending it from attackers helps to increase its prestige ranking, with higher level locations allowing for more Pokemon to join the line of defense. Teammates can band together and take on rival gyms even faster. There are other challenges beyond just gym battles, however, and these will unlock achievement medals for players' profiles. Just like in standard Pokemon role-playing games, players will be able to focus on building their collection through catching and evolving Pokemon. Trainers must travel around outside to find and catch different Pokemon in various locations, and will be able to use better Pokeballs to increase their chance as they go along. Evolution in particular is a feature that's been added following recent beta tests worldwide. According to developer Niantic Labs, evolution works by catching the same type of Pokemon over and over again. Eventually, the trainers will be able to evolve one of them. They can also occasionally find Pokemon eggs at Pokeshops, which are real-life monuments and places of interest, as it does in the games. Taking steps outside causes them to hatch. The free-to-play game, inspired by Niantic Labs' popular Ingress app, will also feature Pokecoins, which can be earned or bought with real money and used to buy power-ups. There's also a device called the Pokemon Go Plus, which is like a wristband with like a Pokeball on it, that connects to the game through Bluetooth and is sold separately.
The only thing that caught my eye here was the evolution thing. That seems weird to me, where evolution now works by catching the same type of Pokemon over and over, and one of them is eventually going to be able to evolve.
Yeah, that is odd.
That's interesting, and I wonder why it is that they're doing that. Now, they did say that you're going to use Pokeballs to catch them, and you get better Pokeballs, just like you do in the games, Great Ball, Ultra Ball, Nest, Dive, all these other different kinds of balls. And I wonder, have they ever said how you're going to get them?
Yeah, I don't know. I assume that you can earn them, maybe through battle, maybe through these Pokecoin things that they're talking about. Because I assume you earn Pokecoins through battle.
Yeah.
In a way. And then you could obviously buy them. So I assume maybe you could buy Pokeballs with these Pokecoins.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting to me that evolution wasn't in the game previously. Like, they added it after the beta test. It seems like, evolution's always been a very big part of the Pokemon games.
Yeah, that is odd.
But I do like the Pokemon eggs at the Pokestops. That's pretty cool. Oh, Josh has an input on this. Josh, what would you like to say?
Why do people have to walk up the street?
because we're on one of the largest streets in the city.
You're right.
But
he's gonna bark again because some other guy walked by. So hold on a second. Is he? Is he not gonna do it?
No, he's fine.
Oh, he's on the ground. Why the hell is he barking? He's not looking out the window.
I don't know. Something upset him.
Whatever. Go back to what you were saying.
I don't know. I'm interested. I'll play it. I'll like it.
I'm interested to try it out. I don't know how much I'll play of it, just because going outside, I don't know if you know, it's not really my thing, Brad.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever, But if I can do it while I'm running an errand or something, then yeah, why not?
Yeah, I'm sure that there'll be one day where I'm like, oh man, I like to go outside more. Let's, here's a reason to go outside more. But at the most, I think what will happen is this app will stay on my phone.
I wonder, what they consider a real-life monument in place of interest, like these Pokestops. I wonder exactly,
I assume maybe it'll be like a big thing. Like, maybe for us, right, in our city, we have the Battleship. Maybe the Battleship would be a Pokestop.
I guess. I mean, that'd be pretty cool, right? Because, I mean, every city has at least something that they consider a memorial or a monument or something.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it would suck if most of these are centered around, like, the big areas like Boston, D.C., and, you know, Chicago.
New York.
Yeah, New York, things like that. But if they have them where they're, like, even in the smaller cities where, like, we have the battleship, I can't think
The
of...
waterfront is a thing. They have that World War II memorial.
Yeah, so, if, like, even the smaller places like us have these kind of things, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
And it would get more people going to the battleship, which not a lot of people go down there these days.
Maybe Airport Road is one because it's like a big thing.
Oh, I hope not, because then they're going to show up in our recordings, because we hear those guys on Airport Road.
Do we?
Yeah, those are the guys that would go revving down the street because they're racing.
Oh, yeah. When they rev by here, we can hear them. We can't hear them down there.
Oh, well, that's where they're going. And
What are they going to race up the street and then catch Pokemon as they're going up?
That's exactly what they're going to do. There's going to be a new epidemic of Pokemon battling and driving. They're going to think of a new catchy, you know, slogan to don't catch and drive or whatever they're going to say.
They're going to be like racing up the streets like, whoa, bro, stop. There's a Pidgey back there.
Oh, God. I hope not. Because the last thing I want is some guy pulled over on the highway with his hazards on because he's trying to catch a Pidgey.
I'd laugh. But yeah, so I guess that's the end of that Pokemon story. And Brad, I'm going to let you read the next story because it was too much reading for me.
Okay, so this next story has to do with these Xbox rumors that got tossed around. And it's about two Xbox rumors in particular. The one of them being the Slim Xbox that's supposed to be 40% smaller than the current model and will likely include 4K support. And the other one is nicknamed Scorpio, or codenamed Scorpio, and is not likely to be released until late 2017. And now these two consoles have been came from sources from both Kotaku and Polygon. So it first popped up on Kotaku, and then Polygon corroborated with their own sources, and they got the same thing. So if you trust either of those sources, then they have both now corroborated with each other and said, yes, we both got the same thing.
The Verge is also reporting on this.
Yes, which is Polygon's sister site. So, now what the sources told them was that the Scorpio console is going to be 4 times more powerful than the current Xbox One, and the announcement at E3 was triggered by, among other things, a faster than expected timeline for Sony's upgraded PlayStation 4, which is the Neo. Now, they're the one that doesn't have a nickname, which is just the Xbox. We'll call it the Xbox Slim. So the Xbox Slim is going to be the competitor for the Neo, is what it looks like, because that's going to support 4K video. And it looks like rather than doing what PlayStation is doing and making it both into one console where this one is both upgraded and has 4K, Xbox is splitting it, where this one has 4K and this one has upgraded performance. So you kind of go down it's like an RPG, right? You go down the path you want.
Right.
And I hate that I live in a world where I can describe console development like an RPG.
So now my question is, I don't know if you know this or not, is the Scorpio not going to have 4K, or is it also going to have 4K?
At this point, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be confirmed whether or not the Scorpio is going to have 4K.
I mean, one would assume that if it's a more powerful system, it would have 4K.
Yes, well, those are two different things. Whether it can read read 4K Blu-rays and all this other fun stuff, and whether or not it's more powerful in terms of the resources it has for games. But there's not much that we know about this. We'll hear a lot about this at E3. There have been a lot of Xbox news floating around with some guy, a guy on Twitter, Sam, what's his name? I forget his last name. So keep an eye out for Xbox and E3 is just really the big thing. But what I do want to point out here, there's one quote in particular that I wanted to read because I think this is an interesting way to look at it. This is a quote from Spencer.
Phil Spencer?
Yes, the Spencer.
Cool guy, Phil Spencer.
Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend. So
Phil Spencer.
Yeah. So it says this: I look at the ecosystem that a console sits in, and I think that it should have the capability of more iteration and hardware capability. Sony is doing this with VR and adding VR capabilities mid-cycle to the PlayStation 4, and they are doing that by adding another box. I don't mean that as a negative, but it's not changing what the core console is about. For consoles in general, it's more important now than it's ever been because you have so many of these other platforms that are around. It used to be that when you bought your console, you were way ahead of the price-performance curve by so much relative to a PC, but now PCs are inexpensive and your phones are getting more and more capable. I still think that a console is the best price-to-performance deal that is out there, and when you look at the evolution, I'm not going to announce our roadmap for hardware, but what I wanted to say on stage for people when they see this vision of ours and question our commitment to console, I want to make sure that people see that what we are doing enables us to be more committed to what consoles are about than we've ever been, and innovate more consistently than we ever have. That's key for me. Now, few things I wanna pick out of that. One of them is the Sony adding capabilities mid-cycle to the PlayStation 4. The other one being the what they're doing is a way for them to be more committed to consoles and innovate more than they have before. Those two things, I think they're not true. I don't know how else to phrase that.
Why?
And
Well,
the reason I say that is because until I have more details about Scorpio, they're boasting that it's 4 times more powerful than the current Xbox One, which is a big boast, but companies always do this. They did it with the recent 1080 NVIDIA cards that came out. And they never quite live up to the boast, but they're usually pretty close. And what they're doing, to me, seems like they're splitting the console market. Sony is increasing the capabilities of the PlayStation 4 mid-cycle, so they're no better than Xbox is right now. But at least they're doing it in one jump. You know what I mean? They're doing PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 4.5 Neo. And that's it. There's that clear line of progression, where what Xbox is doing here is you have the Xbox One right now, and then you can move into either the Xbox Slim with 4K, and then Scorpio, which is 4 times more powerful and may or may not have 4K, we don't know.
see, here's the thing, right? I don't think with the Slim, right, that they're trying to replace necessarily the current Xbox One. With the PS4 Neo, right, it's a little bit more powerful. It's got more of a graphics capabilities to it. We don't know exactly what yet, but when that story came out...
right now it's rumored to be about 2.25 times more powerful than the current PlayStation 4.
Right. So when that story came out before, right, it was all this stuff about how it's more powerful and it also has 4K. What I think with the Slim... the Slim PS4, the Slim Xbox One is just doing is that it's just literally just a smaller Xbox One, kind of in the way that they had the Slim 360 and stuff. It's just now there's something where it supports 4K.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how with the 360, right? If you had the original model 360, you had to buy a little Wi-Fi adapter. Where when they made the Slim model, they just put a Wi-Fi antenna inside of it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. This is exactly the same thing that did the 360. But what I'm saying is, why does Scorpio exist right now? We're midway through the console cycle, and this to me seems more like a jump to not the next generation, but it's a lot closer than we should be getting this early on. Because what he says, innovating more consistently, and while that might be true for the hardware side of things, hardware is nothing without the software that it comes with. And if you're forcing developers to either do one of two things, either abandon the early Xbox One and the Xbox Slim for favoring to develop for the Xbox Scorpio, or you're forcing them to develop for both, which is ridiculous in either case, because either if you develop for both are going to suffer. And if you only develop for Scorpio, then you're screwing over the guys with the Slim and the original Xbox One.
This could be too similar to that quote that we read from Spencer when they announced like all the Windows Xbox stuff. Maybe this could be that modular console thing that they were talking about, where maybe the new baseline for the Scorpio, right, is more powerful than the Xbox One, but it's also modular in a way. Because didn't he say, like, in that quote that you just read, something about, like, their roadmap for hardware is different now?
Yeah, he said he's not going to announce the roadmap for their hardware.
Yeah, so their roadmap for their hardware could very well be different now, and it could be something to the effect of, hey, we have this more powerful Xbox One, and now if you want to add even more power to it, you can buy some of our new stuff that adds upgraded power, maybe better RAM, better processor, shit like that, you know what I mean?
But if anything, that makes it worse, because now the Xbox Scorpio would literally be the baseline, and then nobody would develop for the original Xbox One. And the 10 million units that you've sold up to this point would be completely useless.
See, I think maybe, and this, if we had those quotes that you were telling me about earlier about Xbox more as a platform where it's, say, the operating system for something, this would maybe make more sense. Maybe they're looking at this as more of a PC thing. So maybe, like, maybe, here's the thing, right? Maybe the original Xbox One is technically the baseline, right? But with this, it'll be like how there's PC versions of games that are way more powerful than the Xbox One version or the PS4 version. So it could very well be a thing of the original Xbox One / the Xbox Slim are the baselines, and this is just maybe the upgraded PC version in a way. I don't know. Or it's kind of like how there was 360 games that were also on Xbox One, you know?
I don't know. I don't think that doesn't really make sense to me, because you're still splitting the development cycle. If they're going to do something like what Scorpio's doing right now, and if, let's say, for the sake of argument, that this is the new baseline for them, this is going to be their introduction to modular hardware, you don't do this mid-cycle in a console's life. Make your next generation the modular hardware, because now you're taking what is already established. And I get that they did lose the console race. As we saw before, Sony's way outselling them, projecting 60 million units by April or August 2017, and Xbox is barely hitting 11 at this point. And I don't see that number increasing anytime soon. I can't speak. But this is only going to further segment your sales. So no matter what the purpose of the console is, I don't see it doing well.
Here's the thing, right? Maybe right now, as a rumor, this is being called the Xbox One Scorpio. Who knows? Names could change. Maybe they'll call it the Xbox 2 or something like that, or just call it simply Xbox and make it more of a platform sort of thing like we were talking about, where like it could run like a regular PC, but it has that Xbox operating system on it.
I think it's way too soon. We're only halfway through this cycle's development. Traditionally, consoles last for about 8 to 9 years.
We don't know when this thing's coming out, though. This is just rumored.
Yeah, it's
rumored for 2017. It could come out way later than that, though. They could realize, they could get huge backlash from this, like how Sony got with Neo, and they could be like, "Hey, let's launch this later. Maybe go back to the drawing board with some stuff. Maybe we can add more power to it."
I mean, if this was any more than 2 years out, we wouldn't have this story. Because in 2 or 3 years, technology would advance enough where they would be able to make a much better version than this already, and this wouldn't even be on the drawing board. So we'll hear about this at E3, I'm almost certain. We'll at least hear about the Slim, if not Scorpio. So until then, we can project all we like, but we're not going to get anywhere.
This could also be a thing of maybe they want to shorten the timeline of this console generation. Because last generation was super long, right? But generations before that have been really short. And last generation was kind of an anomaly, how long it went for. It was just the fact that those systems sold incredibly well out of the gate, that it kind of stayed around for a while and made people go, do we really need to make new systems right now?
I don't know. I need more information is basically what I need, because I can't, I don't see a reason for Scorpio to exist at this point. And I'm not saying in the immediate future. I don't see a reason for Scorpio within the next 2 years. Because if you want to do modular hardware, that's fine, but I think there's a better way to do it. I'm not quite sure what it is. If you have an opinion on this, because I imagine this is a pretty hotly debated topic as to whether or not Xbox is jumping ship to a new console at this point, email us. I'd like to know some other opinions on this. But I think that's as much as we can talk about this story.
So then, if we're all done with that, why don't we just move into the wrap-up? Hitman's next mission takes place in Africa, a first for the series. In this episode, Agent 47 is in an ancient Moroccan city of Marrakesh, tracking a rogue general who was plotting a coup.
A coup.
Why is there a P there, then?
P silent. It's the adaptation of the French word coup d'état.
Is plotting a coup, and a private financer holed up in a Swedish embassy. Okay. I got all screwed up by having to read that differently. In all of his world travels over the 16-year history of the Hitman franchise, this marks 47's first trip to Africa. The episode launches on PlayStation 4, Windows PC, and Xbox One on May 31st. Got anything to say about that, or?
No, I'm glad that they're doing new things with the Hitman series. They're going to Africa now. That's cool. But I've never been big into the Hitman series, but maybe that'll change. We'll see.
From what I'm hearing about this new one is that everyone actually really likes the episodic nature of it.
Well, that's good. That was a big worry when the game was first announced, was that how was this episodic thing going to work out? They're not a Telltale game, so.
I was always worried of, is this going to have enough, staying power? And apparently, the fact that, there's, a couple months in between each episode, it makes people be a lot more, plotting with their way of approaching it, instead of, how if you played through, a full Hitman game, you could just kind of, if you got caught, you'd be like, whatever, screw it, go guns blazing. But with this, they kind of really want to get those stealth playthroughs with it from people that I've heard that like Hitman and they've been playing this.
Yeah, it's cool. You get a nice little variety. You can try to complete the game as fast as you want, but the next one's not coming out for a while, so you take your time. You can play some other games while you do it.
Exactly. 7 Days to Die, the survival horror crafting game from The Fun Pimps, that's a great name for a developer, will be released on June 28th on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The PS4 and Xbox One versions of 7 Days to Die will include a new mode of split-screen local multiplayer. 7 Days to Die will be released both digitally and at retail in North America on June 28th. In Europe, only a digital version will launch on June 28th. The game will be available July 1st at retail. It will cost $29.99. PS4 and Xbox One pre-order customers will receive a set of 5 skins based on characters from Telltale franchises, because they are publishing the game on consoles, including Lee Everett from The Walking Dead and Michonne from also The Walking Dead, but she had her own series, The Walking Dead Michonne. Are you familiar with 7 Days to Die?
Yeah, I actually own the game.
Oh.
But
Is it fun?
I haven't played it in a very long time. Specifically, I'm looking at my Steam library right now. Give me a second. Yep, 109 hours. Last played 7/10/2015.
Oh, well, you played it a lot when you did play it.
Yeah, I did play it a lot. It was a blast, honestly. I had a lot of fun with this game. But there were some, because it is early access. I don't know if it still is at this point. I think it is. But when I had played it, it was early access, and there were some issues with it, like there always are. And there's some pretty bad optimization issues, so I was like, all right, I'll keep it off for a while, let the developers fix it up, and then I'll come back to it. And I just never did go back to it. But when I played it, I had a lot of fun with it. It's basically Minecraft with zombies, if that makes any sense.
That's interesting.
Because you can build, like, you build everything. You build your own guns, you build your houses and everything. You scavenge for food and water and medicine and all this other stuff. And it can get really, really scary, because, like, there are hordes that come out of nowhere. I don't know if this is still part of the game. I assume it is. But when I played, there were the hordes that would come, and you'd hear the sound of them, and they'd be just like 100 of them running at you from one direction. And you prayed to God that the defenses you'd set up were good enough to hold them back. Because they tear down your walls, they'd break your traps, they would do everything. And there were these annoying-ass bees that flew all over the place, and they sucked.
I want to try this game out. It looks interesting to me. I like these kind of survival games like this and DayZ and Rust and stuff like that. So
yeah, I feel bad, because it's a really good game, but it kind of came out in the sort of survival horror, like, just swamp that we got stuck in, where, like,
right.
Every game coming out on Steam Early Access was a survival horror game, so there were just so many of them. I feel like if this game had been released at a more appropriate time, it could have done much, much better, but, you know.
Do you think this is going to do better on consoles, being the fact that it's kind of the only one of these that we have on console?
Yes. And not because it's the only one, but simply because I think it'll play much better on a console. And the split-screen local multiplayer is a very smart choice from these guys, because this game is the most fun when you're playing with somebody. And I can imagine couch co-op on this game would be a blast.
Nice. Probably the most important news story of the week. Hateful Boyfriend, the unique dating sim starring a cast of pigeons, is now available on iOS. Fans of birds, romance, and everything in between can pick it up for $4.99.
I'd always heard it pronounced, hateful.
It might be. I've always pronounced it hateful.
Regardless, it's stupid. And it's a dating simulator with a bunch of pigeons.
Is it just because it's a dating simulator that's stupid, or is it because
No, because it's a bunch of pigeons. I'm fine with a dating simulator, whatever, whatever games float your boat. But with pigeons, come on now. This is Goat Simulator, but worse. Like, much worse. You don't date the goat.
I don't know about that. I don't know if it's worse than Goats.
Oh, at least in Goat Simulator, you can have a good hour of fun goofing around in it. In this is just disturbing. You're dating pigeons. There's something not right with that.
That's it for the news, though.
Thank God. Because I'm starting to die in here. This room's getting really warm.
But we still have one more thing to go through, and that's, well, that sucked. Welcome to Well, That Sucked. The way the game works is simple. I give Brad 3 randomly selected games, and he has to tell me which of the 3 is the lowest rated according to Metacritic. I can give Brad no help besides a brief description of the game if Brad so asks for it. Brad, are you ready?
Sure.
Round 1.
Round 1.
That was sexual. See if you can figure out the theme of this round. Overwatch, Team Fortress 2, Battleborn.
Now, you see, I'm glad you put Overwatch in here because I know that Overwatch has been getting almost straight 10s across the board, according to the critics. So, I know that's not the one.
But Team Fortress 2 was very popular back in the day.
It was. It's still very popular now. A lot of people do do like it.
Could have still gotten those great rave reviews.
Yeah, so it's between Battleborn and Team Fortress. And I think people are too fanboy heavy on the Team Fortress Valve thing, so I think they would probably beat Battleborn. So I think I'm going to go with Battleborn as the lowest.
I feel bad for Battleborn.
Yeah, I do too.
But you're right.
Yep.
Can you tell me what Battleborn is rated?
Now, it's a good game, so just because it's going up against these two monsters of titles, I don't think it takes away from it. So it's probably 86.
72.
Oh, okay. Well, I was worse than I thought. I'm sorry, Battleborn. What'd you do?
A little bit.
Who did you hurt?
This dog. A little bit lower than expected.
Certainly not the worst on the show.
No, definitely not. We've had games that had a 9.
Yeah.
Team Fortress 2 was the second highest with a 92, and the highest rated was Overwatch with a 94.
It's getting incredible reviews. A lot of people are upset about the price point where, oh, this game should have been free to play, and I want to punch those people.
I mean, I think it should have, but maybe that's just me coming off of Team Fortress thinking that they're kind of the same thing.
No, because if it was free to play, then they would have to do this stupid thing where, because they have to make money somehow, there would be,
hats.
They'd be like hats, or it would be like everybody else is doing now, where you only get these 3 heroes and the rest come on rotation, and then you can buy heroes if you want to speed up. And I hate that.
Well, that's not how Team Fortress does it.
Well,
though.
Team Fortress wasn't free when it came out.
Well, Team Fortress
only became free after several years of being sold.
That's true. Maybe Overwatch will do that eventually. Who knows?
It's possible. I mean, with the $40, you're buying everything to ever come out for that game. All the DLC.
There's not going to be any
paid
map packs or anything?
Nope, everything comes with the game. All the characters, all the maps, everything.
I think the problem is that it's $60 on console. There's no $40 option on the consoles.
Yeah, which confuses me a little bit, actually, because, I mean, you have the $60 version for PC, but you get the extra, you get the skins, you get...
I think you still get skins on console, too. It's just, you get extra stuff in the PC one where, you get stuff for, Diablo.
Yeah, it's the same Blizzard Collection Edition that they always do, where you get something for every one of their games. You get StarCraft portraits, a pet in WoW, a card back in Hearthstone, some little funky thing in Diablo.
Tracers and Heroes of the Storm.
You get Tracer and Heroes, so, but they can't do that on consoles, so it confuses me as to why they wouldn't be able
The most they could do is give the thing for Diablo, because Diablo is also on consoles.
Yeah. It does very well on consoles, from what I understand, so...
Yeah, that's a game that works on a controller. That's the thing. I always thought WoW could work on a controller, too. They just never brought it to consoles for some reason.
Oh, I don't know. It depends on what kind of WoW you're playing. The PvP stuff, absolutely not. I had, 25 macros and a full, mouse full of buttons, and I didn't have enough stuff.
Huh. I don't know. See if you... round 2.
Round 2.
The theme here is stuff that had to do with the show.
Oh.
Trackmania Turbo. Hitman Episode 2 Sapienza. Pokemon Y. Because Pokemon Go doesn't have scores yet, so I had to pick a Pokemon game.
Oh, a lot of people like that generation of Pokemon. X and Y is a lot of people's favorites. But I've never played it personally, so I don't know. So Trackmania Turbo, Pokemon Y, and, what was the other one?
The Hitman Episode 2,
Oh.
Sapienza.
I think Pokemon's probably going to be the highest, because that was a really good generation. I probably... But Trackmania is so simple. How do you screw it up?
And Trackmania has, a huge online following, so...
Yeah. Which makes me want to go with Hitman, but people are really liking this Hitman. It's 3 games that everybody loves. How do you pick between 3 games everybody loves? I'm gonna go with Trackmania.
You know Trackmania?
Yeah.
Brad, you're right.
Aha! I win.
Can you tell me what Trackmania is rated?
Trackmania is rated a 79.
Oh my god, Brad, you got the half
Are
point
you serious?
too. Yeah.
Yes! Wow, that's awesome.
Hitman Episode 2 was number 2 with 84. And Pokemon Y was the highest rate with an 88.
Yep, a lot of people like that generation. I can't believe I got the half point.
I know. The fact that you got it dead on, too, you're just like, I don't know, 79.
Yeah.
So you got it. This third round is a grab bag round because I didn't know what to do for the third round.
Okay.
Round 3.
Round 3.
Action Hank. Paranautical Activity. Shadow Complex Remastered.
These all... Well, the last one sounds fine. The first two sound terrible.
Action Hank is I think it's like a platforming beat-em-up game where you play as a action figure from and he fights other toys or something.
See, like the 80s style action figure where he looks like he's on 17 pounds of steroids?
It might be. I've only seen screenshots and I forget what he looked like. So he might be like a Hitman sort of thing. Not Hitman, He-Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say He-Man.
Yeah. Or,
the male equivalent of Barbie.
Is he? Is he really the male? Ken is the male equivalent.
I didn't mean literally.
Nautical Activity.
It's a water-based horror game.
It might be. I'm not exactly sure, actually.
I'm
gonna look it up. And Shadow Complex Remastered is a Metroidvania, not third person, 2D shooter.
Well, the fact that it got a remaster means it must be decent enough. I'm gonna stop leaning back so you guys can actually hear me, and I'll speak into the mic.
Yeah, I was wondering why you sounded so.
Because I was leaning back in my chair.
Let's see. I'm on Paranormal Activities Steam page.
I'm probably just gonna go with that because it sounds awful. It sounds terrible.
Paranautical Activity combines the classic FPS action games like Doom and Quake with the randomness and difficulty of modern roguelikes like Binding of Isaac and Spelunky.
Oh yeah, no, I'm going with that. That sounds terrible.
You really going with that?
Yeah, I'm going with that. It sounds awful. I'm sure Action Hank has something to say about that, but...
Brad.
Yeah?
For the first time ever, you have performed a 3-peat.
I got 3.5.
You get 3.5. Now, let's see if you can get another half and get 4.
Okay.
Can you tell me what Paranormal Activity is rated?
56.
So close. It's a 51.
And of course, it wouldn't be a recording of Complete with DLC if I didn't get a goddamn phone call. Son of a... I'm not cutting this.
But yeah, you won this week. You won in a kind of a spectacular fashion.
I did, and I'm very happy about that.
But you know what you've won the most
What?
out of this? Is the fact that you can read me the spiel. Wow, this looks like Minecraft, but like a first-person shooter.
That sounds awful.
You should look it up when we're done.
Okay. So if you want to get in touch with us and talk to us about any of the things we talk about on this show, your comments, questions, concerns, whatever it might be, you can send that over to completewithdlc@gmail.com. If you have a question for one of us specifically and you want to do it through email, then make sure you address that in either the subject line or in the body of the email, and I will make sure that the correct person answers your email for you. Excuse me. But if you don't want to email us and you just want to keep up to date on all the show's happenings, then go over to the social medias, the Twitters, and you can follow us there. We are Complete with DLC. That's where Jacob puts all the information about the new episodes going up, any of the various YouTube series that we're doing, anything like that. Twitter is going to be the place you're going to want to go for that. If you just want to get new episodes of the show as they come out, then you're going to want to listen to us on wherever you can find your podcasts, whether it be iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or SoundCloud, or any of the derivatives thereof. Then, if you are listening to us on any of those things, please use the feedback software that they give you, whether they be thumbs, stars, arrows, or smiley faces. I don't care. Whew, that was a mouthful. Yeah, just give some feedback. We appreciate all the feedback you guys give us, and we like to hear it. We like to improve the show based on what you guys tell us, so we take all the feedback into consideration. Oh, the show is live streamed at twitch.tv/completewithdlc if you want to see our ugly mugs as we record this and, frantically fail to perform a adequate live stream. That's going to be the place you're going to want to do it. If you want to talk to Jacob, however, Jacob, where can they talk to you specifically?
They can talk to me on any sort of social media at itsjaygriff, ITSJAYGRIFF. the place that'll probably be best to get a hold of me though would be Twitter, because I use that the most. I just want to point out that I was looking at the reviews of this paranautical activity, and there's one person who played it for 88 hours and still doesn't recommend it. If you played it for 88 hours, I think that you enjoyed yourself.
Or he just played it so much hoping it would get better at some point.
Could be. I don't know. Don't play a game for that long if you're not going to recommend it. Brad, where can they get in touch with you?
If you want to get in touch with me, you can do that nowhere, because I'm going to be stuck playing Doom for the next 3 hours. Don't talk to me. Leave me alone. You can get in touch with me on Twitter. I am Calgny on Twitter, Kalgne. If you don't trust my ability to use the social medias, then my hat's off to you. You are very observant, in which case Battle.net is your second best option. I am Brad, #1261 on Battle.net. Yes, you have to put the little hashtag symbol in there, because Blizzard is weird. If you do send me a friend request on Battle.net, as soon as I accept it, let me know where you heard the friend code, whether it be a podcast episode, or a YouTube video, or the stream pictures, or wherever you heard it, let me know so I can make a note of it, and I can categorize you appropriately in terms of my friends list, so I don't accidentally delete you. But I think that's it.
That is everything. Oh, music recommendations.
I forgot about musical recommendations. I forgot all the time. Jacob, you do yours first.
I gotta think of one.
Okay, so neither of us thought of one. That's great. That's awesome.
That's just fantastic. Great job to us.
Yeah, we are just we're exceeding all expectations, really.
And you can tell that we're just vamping right now because we don't know what to say.
No,
while we look up music.
You know what? I'm not even gonna insult you guys by doing this last minute. No music recommendation for me this week. I'll make it up to you. I promise.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You can't do that. That's not.
Do you want me to spend the next 5 minutes looking for one? No. I got stuff to do and we have a show to end. Damn it. We're just past an hour, and I was hoping we'd get this episode under an hour.
Listen to Russian pop music. That's pretty great.
Yes. I don't have one. Don't look at me. Have I recommended?
Just the entire genre of Russian pop music. Just listen to the whole thing.
I've recommended Sukoji already. Never mind. Okay. Yeah, I don't have one.
Look up the song 16. It's just the number 16. That's a good song.
Okay, so before I die of heat stroke, Jacob, do the end card.
This has been Complete with DLC. I'm Jacob Griffin.
I'm slowly dying.
And thank you for listening.
Oh, gotta end the recording. Oops.